Family. Shift your mindset. See yourself how God sees you. One of the biggest attacks the enemy brings is on your mind. If he can convince you that you are weak, unworthy, incapable, he can keep you from stepping into everything God has for you. But today, it's time to shift your mindset. You are not what your past says you are. You are not what your failures say you are. You are not what the enemy says you are. You are what God says you are. You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. 1 Peter 2:9. You are chosen. You are royalty. You are set apart. You are not ordinary. You are not average. You carry the power of the living God inside you. And when you truly believe that, when you start walking, talking, thinking, and acting like the person God created you to be, everything begins to shift. Doors open, favor follows, miracles happen, strength rises. Because the moment you align your thinking with God's truth is the moment you start stepping into your destiny. Activate your faith. Speak life over your future. Family. If you want to see things shift in your life, start speaking what God says, not what your circumstances say. Too many people wake up and declare negativity over their day without even realizing it. They say, "I'm tired, nothing good ever happens for me. I don't know how I'm going to make it. It's always one thing after another." And they wonder why nothing changes. You will eat the fruit of your words. Proverbs 18:21. So starting today, speak life. Speak faith. Speak victory. Instead of saying, "I'm weak," say, "I am strong in the Lord and in his mighty power." Ephesians 6:10. Instead of saying, "I don't know what to do," say, "God is directing my steps." Instead of saying, "I can't handle this," say, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Philippians 4:13. Your future is bright. Stay in faith. Let me tell you, God is not finished with you. He has plans for your life that are greater than anything you can imagine. "For I know the plans I have for you," declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. That means your best days are not behind you. They are ahead of you. The sickness is not the end. The financial struggle is not the end. The heartbreak is not the end. You will rise. You will overcome. You will see the goodness of God in the land of the living. So hold on. Keep the faith. Stay in expectation. Your 7th day is coming. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Your comeback story is about to begin. Jesus is working behind the scenes right now. Will you trust him? You are stronger than you think. The enemy wants you to believe that you don't have what it takes. He whispers, "You're too weak. You're too broken. You'll never get through this." But let me remind you of what God says about you. But those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:31. It doesn't say, "Those who never struggle will be strong." It doesn't say, "Those who have it all together will soar." No, it says, "Those who trust in the Lord." That means even in your weakest moment, if you just lean on God, he will give you strength you didn't know you had. You may feel weary, but God says, "You will run and not grow weary." You may feel exhausted, but God says, "You will walk and not faint." You may feel like giving up, but God says, "You will soar." Family. I want to talk to you today about those moments when your faith feels weak. When the battles of life seem bigger than your strength. When the weight of what you're going through makes you wonder if God even hears your prayers. We've all been there. We've all had nights when we lay awake asking, "God, where are you? Why is this happening? When will my breakthrough come?" But let me remind you today, Just because you feel weak doesn't mean God has left you. Just because you don't see the way doesn't mean He's not working behind the scenes. God has a history of showing up when things seem impossible. Just ask Joseph, who sat in a prison cell for years before stepping into the palace. Ask Moses, who stood before a Red Sea with an army behind him, no way forward in sight, yet God made a way where there was no way. Ask the woman with the issue of blood, who had been sick for 12 years, exhausted every option. Yet one touch, just one touch, of Jesus' robe changed her life forever. You may be in a situation right now that looks impossible, but I came to tell you today, God specializes in impossible. The battle is not yours, it's the Lord's. Maybe you're in a situation right now where you feel like you have nothing left to give. You've been fighting, believing, standing in faith, and you're just tired. Maybe it's a financial struggle. You've done everything you know to do, and the bills are still piling up. Maybe it's a health issue. You've prayed, you've trusted, yet the symptoms haven't changed. Maybe it's a relationship. You've given your all, yet the other person still won't change. Can I tell you something? The battle is not yours. It belongs to God. Do not be afraid or discouraged because of this vast army. For the battle is not yours, but God's. 2 Chronicles 20:15. When King Jehoshaphat faced an enemy army much bigger than his, he didn't panic. He didn't try to figure it all out. He turned to God and let God fight the battle for him. And guess what? God not only gave him victory, but Jehoshaphat and his army didn't even have to lift a sword. What if the battle you're fighting isn't even yours to fight? What if God is just waiting for you to step back and let Him take over? Your weakness is an opportunity for God's strength. You see, sometimes God allows us to get to the end of our strength so that we'll lean on His strength. The Apostle Paul went through trial after trial. He was shipwrecked, beaten, imprisoned. Yet in his weakest moments, he discovered something powerful. He said, "God's grace is sufficient for me, for His power is made perfect in my weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. That means when you feel the weakest, God is actually at His strongest in your life. God's power is not activated by your strength. It's activated by your surrender. It's in the moments when you say, "God, I can't do this on my own," that He steps in and shows Himself strong. Your story isn't over yet. Family, don't let temporary struggles make you forget that you serve an eternal God. Your current situation is not your final destination. What you see now is not the full story. God is still writing. Joseph sat in a prison, but that wasn't the end. He became second in command of Egypt. Moses stood before the Red Sea, but that wasn't the end. God made a way where there was no way. Job lost everything, but that wasn't the end. God restored him double for his trouble. Jesus was crucified, but that wasn't the end. On the third day, He rose again. If you're still breathing, that means your story isn't over. Don't give up now. There is breakthrough ahead. There is healing ahead. There is restoration ahead. There is victory ahead. Keep strong in faith and get ready for a comeback. Let me tell you something. God doesn't let His children stay down. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every hardship is an opportunity for God to do something miraculous. Just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean God isn't working. Sometimes the greatest miracles happen beneath the surface, in the unseen. The roots of a tree grow the deepest in the seasons when nothing is visible above ground. God is developing you in this season. He's strengthening your faith. He's increasing your spiritual endurance. And at just the right time, you're going to rise stronger, better, and more powerful than ever before. Stand up and declare victory. Today. So today, I challenge you. Don't let your feelings dictate your faith. You may feel weak, but declare, "I am strong in the Lord." You may feel weary, but declare, "I will run and not grow weary." You may feel discouraged, but declare, The battle is the Lord's and victory is mine. Say it out loud right now. I will not give up. I will not let fear win. I will see the goodness of God in my life. God sees you. He knows your struggles, your silent battles and the prayers you've whispered in the dark. You are not overlooked, not abandoned, not forgotten, even when it feels like nothing is changing. God is moving behind the scenes, orchestrating breakthroughs you can't yet see. He is not just with you. He is fighting for you, strengthening you, and preparing something greater than you imagined. Hold on, because your story isn't over. The pain, the waiting, the setbacks, they are not your final chapter. Your best days are not behind you. They are ahead, unfolding in His perfect time. Don't lose heart. God is working even when you can't see it. Every prayer, every tear, every moment of faith is paving the way for your breakthrough. Keep believing, keep pressing forward, because what you've been waiting for is closer than you think. The delay is not denial. Your season of victory is on the horizon. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more faith-filled messages that will uplift your spirit. If the word today spoke to you, type "strength in God" in the comments and declare, "I receive it." In Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Keep strong in faith.